And I talked to the principal, and she brushed it off like it was nothing.
Next at noon, new fallout in St. Helens with the high school principal now arrested facing criminal charges. Plus, Governor Tina Kotek is calling lawmakers in for a special session. How much in emergency wildfire funding she is asking for. But first, New Seasons workers across the area walked off the job this morning. Which stores are impacted by the strike and what it could mean for your holiday grocery shopping? Thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm China Green. Our top story: workers at 11 New Seasons stores in the Portland area have walked off the job for a one-day strike. But despite that, New Seasons says all affected locations will remain open. Ashley Grahams is live outside the one in Northwest Portland. Ashley, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, China, we watched these workers begin their strike around 7 this morning. They've been walking back and forth across the entrance to this parking lot, asking people not to shop at New Seasons today. Workers say they've been bargaining with New Seasons and trying to reach a contract agreement since about 2023. Just outside this New Seasons market in Northwest Portland.
We're out here today on strike, asking customers not to cross the picket line.
Totally protest, totally feel whatever you need to feel, but don't block people from coming in.
Some employees are on strike at 10 unionized stores in Portland, one in Beaverton.
And they asked if I would just not shop there for one day, and I just thought that I would support them.
The union says they're bargaining for a first contract and higher wages and accuse the company of unfair labor practices.
It's a one-day strike. It's easy. You know, there's a lot of places around here that will sell you a turkey, will sell you whatever you need.
It's a one-day strike on the day before Thanksgiving when many people are out grabbing last-minute items for the big meal.
We're out here today to inflict some economic damage and tell the company that they need to be thankful for their workers if they want us to come to work.
Though all stores where employees are striking are still open.
Just grabbing something for tomorrow for Thanksgiving.
A spokesperson from New Seasons Market says they support their employees' right to protest, and they're able to remain open by relying on employees that have chosen not to strike and employees that are not part of the union. Ahead of the strike, a spokesperson from New Seasons told us that any unfair labor practice cases against them had either been dismissed or withdrawn. Now, when it comes to negotiations on the labor contract, it seems the biggest sticking point right now is wages. We have more details on that on our website. For now, live in Northwest Portland, I'm Ashley Grams.
Thank you, Ashley. AAA is projecting a record 71.7 million people will travel by car over the holiday weekend. That's an additional 1.3 million travelers on the road compared to last year. So let's take a live look now at the roads as people start heading out to drive. The drive south to Wilsonville is pretty busy at this noon hour. ODOT expects I-5 to be a big traffic hotspot there from now until 6 p.m. coming and going. Here's a quick look at the Sylvan Hill. That's always busier. And then I-5 through downtown Portland doesn't look too bad yet. Pretty clear out there. And if you were headed over the mountain, Highway 26 has thawed out for now, and there's bare pavement at Government Camp. So it's looking pretty good out there for Thanksgiving travel.
Not bad. I know a lot of times, for me, I go home up into Clark County on I-5, and this can be like a really busy Friday afternoon this day before Thanksgiving. So we'll see. I'm sure it's going to pick up. We saw Government Camp with the wet pavement. It was overcast. Did you notice? You get up above Government Camp, and it is clear. We've seen a lot of people. There are a few of them, if you look at the bottom of the screen, out enjoying the resorts. Some 58 inches of snow there at Timberline for skiers and boarders. It's 32 degrees, and there's not a breath of wind. So it is just fabulous weather up there. I'm going to show you where it's sunny, which is more spots than not. Here's the Oregon coast. How would you like to be here? Lincoln City, Schnookwan's Casino Resort. Temperature outside 48 degrees. And here's the East Gorge out from the Oregon Veterans Home Camp in the Dalles, where it's 49 and also light winds. So the low clouds are basically only up and down the I-5 corridor thanks to the Willamette Valley and up into southwest Washington. We are at 47 degrees. The weather modeling keeps us pretty steady in the upper 40s for the remainder of this afternoon. The only forecast question is whether we will break out of the clouds and get any sun or not, and that's kind of a flip of the coin. I do like our chances to have dense fog in the morning if you're going to be driving early on Thanksgiving Day itself. We'll have that forecast coming up.
Thank you, Rod. Developing this afternoon, the St. Helens High School principal, currently on leave, has turned herself in and has been arrested by the St. Helens Police Department. Dr. Katie Wagner was indicted yesterday on multiple criminal charges in connection with the growing sex abuse investigation in the school district. KGW's Catherine Cook spoke to one parent last night who feels vindicated by the news but wishes that her concerns have been taken seriously to begin with.
I was surprised. I didn't think at this point that she could be held accountable.
St. Helens mom Shannon Kelzer reacting to news of St. Helens High School principal Katie Wagner. Wagner, who's now on leave, was charged with 6 crimes Tuesday. They're connected to the school district's growing sex abuse case involving 2 teachers. Wagner's charges include 2 felony counts of criminal mistreatment in the first degree and 4 misdemeanor counts of official misconduct. Court documents suggest Wagner withheld necessary care for students and failed to uphold her duties as a mandatory reporter when students reported allegations of abuse. KGW went to Wagner's home for comment. Her husband answered the door and didn't want to talk with us.
It's actually a lot of reassurance that our system will work. You just have to keep fighting, I guess. It's been many years.
That fight reached a fever pitch this month during this St. Helens school board meeting.
And I talked to the principal, and she brushed it off like it was nothing.
Parents, including Kelzer, infuriated over lack of action by school and district officials regarding 2 St. Helens High School teachers. Choir teacher Eric Stearns and retired math teacher Mark Collins were both arrested and charged with several counts of sexual abuse of a minor. Those cases involve multiple students and stretch as far back as 9 years ago.
It's the lack of action when things were reported.
District officials admitted they knew about the investigation starting in September, 2 months before the arrests, but let Stearns keep teaching anyway. Besides Wagner, Superintendent Scott Stockwell was also placed on leave. On Tuesday, the district introduced its new acting superintendent, Dr. Steve Webb. Webb retired as superintendent of Vancouver Public Schools in 2021. He didn't take questions, but read a short statement.
The district has significant work ahead to repair relationships and rebuild trust. Healing this pain will take time, decisive action, transparent communication, and community engagement.
Webb said there will be an external investigation into the district's policies around mandatory reporting, among other things.
We're going to give him a chance, and I hope that he is able to bring, help people feel more trust in our school system and safe.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Katie Wagner is expected in court for arraignment later this afternoon. St. Helens police are asking if anyone has more information about Wagner, particularly when it comes to mandatory reporting, which may have not been completed, to contact detectives. This just in, a man in Gladstone has been arrested accused of murdering his mother. According to the city of Gladstone, around 6:30 last night, police responded to a welfare check for Rosa Leyva at a home near Carson and Webster Road. They were met at the door by Leyva's son, Ronald Kirk. When officers entered the home, they found Leyva dead. Kirk was arrested and taken to the Clackamas County Jail for murder and unlawful use of a weapon. And we have new information about the pair found dead inside a home in Wilsonville Monday afternoon. According to authorities, the 2 found dead in the Villeblanc neighborhood were father and son. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office says 59-year-old Stephen Wilson and 34-year-old Red Wilson got into a fight and shot and killed each other.
But this is so unusual for this neighborhood. This is such a quiet, peaceful place.
Shocked. We never in 9.5 years had any break-ins or we had any theft of any kind from a store or anywhere.
The Sheriff's Office says the investigation is ongoing and that they still want to hear from anyone who might have information. Governor Tina Kotek has called a special legislative session next month to approve emergency funding to cover the cost of fighting wildfires. The record wildfire season burned nearly 2 million acres statewide, racking up more than $350 million in bills for the Department of Forestry and the state fire marshal. Much of that will eventually be reimbursed by federal government, but Kotek is asking lawmakers to find $218 million so the agencies can pay their bills as soon as possible. The special session begins December 12th.